What made you pick Tallent Roofing of Chattanooga?
First of all, several years ago, I had a new roof put on my house in 2012, and the chimney started leaking a couple of years after that. And I couldn't get a hold of the roofer at the time. And I'm actually in the insurance business, so I have a good connection with our adjusters and some roofers in the area. So I decided just to reach out to one of our local adjusters and just say, hey, could you give me a list of some roofers that you like and that you've seen have been honest and do good work? And he did, and TJ Tallent was one of those. So I gave TJ a call. He came up, looked at my situation, and from there he's like, oh, that's with simple fix. You just need to have your gutter not your gutters, but your chimney reflashed because it wasn't done properly when the roof was installed. So I hired TJ to do that. He sent his workers up there to take care of it, and they knocked it out in probably just a few hours. And here we are 12 years later and no problem since. We're 10 years later. And it's ever since then I was sold on TJ and his roofing company because his family's been in the roofing business for years from what I understand, and he kind of grew up in it. And my experience with TJ over the years has been that he shows up when he says he's going to show up. He takes care of the problems, and if a roof doesn't need to be replaced, he actually just tells you, no, it doesn't. And he's very straightforward with the customers on what the problem is, if it's a maintenance issue, if it's a storm-related issue, or just something that, hey, it's wore out, it's time to replace it. And that's what I appreciate about TJ. He doesn't beat around the bush. And for example, with my in-laws, he took the stance when he came out to look at their roof about 8 years ago. He actually advised them, said, hey, you got several years of life left in your roof. I want to replace it right now. Get as much as you can out of it, and when it's time to replace it, hopefully you'll use me, we'll replace it then. And here he is now, and they replaced the roof 8 years later because they really appreciated the whole aspect of him being honest and just telling them like it is. And that's one thing that's hard to find in today's world of construction. People just kind of, want to tell you that they just want to replace everything right then because they're looking for the buck right away. And TJ's been in the business long enough to where he wants to establish a long-term basis type of customer that when the need arises down the road, they'll give him a call again because they'll remember, hey, I remember when TJ came out here, he said we didn't need to have it done, and here we are a few years later, and that's who I want to go with. And I think that carries a lot of weight, and I really appreciate that. And with myself being in insurance for close to 30 years and growing up with a grandfather that was a contractor and all his brothers in the trades, I understand that you're only as good as your name, and Tallent Roofing proves that day in and day out.